finished school, I went to my daycare, and I went to the corner of my room because my teacher had outcasted me from the rest of the class because I was the weird kid. And I made some friends in the back of the class. That was until some of the other people told me that they were pretending to be my friend just so they could use me for my toys. So then I go home, and my mom notices something's up, and she says, "You can tell me anything." And so I tell her. And then she tells me, "That's just how the world is. Deal with it." So I go to bed. I wake up the next morning. I put on my clothes. And my mom sees me. And she says, "You look stupid. Why are you wearing those clothes? Everyone's going to think you're ugly. And you better not fidget your pencil at school, or they're going to think you're crazy. And even if they don't tell you, they're going to think it in their head." So I show up to school. And one bad thing happens, and it's too much for me. And I run to the restroom, I cry, and I just wish the day would go away. And then I go home, and I go to a recording of Placido Domingo singing Vesti la Juba. And the second I hear his voice, everything is okay again. When I listen to music, or when I sing, there's this vulnerable part of me. I feel this connection to the world, to these musicians that I've never felt anywhere else. And it brings me back to my feet. And I'd like to imagine that in 10 years, 20 years from now, that I'll be in Germany. And I'll be singing in the opera houses. And I like to imagine that somewhere in the audience, there's little Gene. He had a bad day at daycare. He shows up to the opera, not knowing what to expect. And then he sees me on stage. And I can only hope that the words I sing, that my music can get to him. And that it tells him that he is loved, that somewhere out there, there is something for him, and that the world is a better place for being in it. And it is through music that I found myself, and it's through music that I want others to know that they belong. Thank you.
Okay, so Gene, that was 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, so that's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So really quick here, well, let's see what the class is, right? We're at delivery, content, and what's that third one? What was the guy?
Effectiveness.
Overall effectiveness. All right, overall effectiveness. All right, delivery. All right, delivery. Phyllis.
I love your delivery of that. Even though it's like very emotional, and I know Mr. Oliver said to kind of like compose yourself while you're doing it, I think it adds a lot to your speech. So I would say keep it.
It's just
like
enough.
that.
I'm wholeheartedly in agreement there. It's just enough. You don't do it if it's not real, right? It has to be genuine to pull something like that off. But right now, it's just enough. Careful of that, because remember, we need another minute that somehow you lost, right? And that minute, we'll get to that in the content, right? We'll get to that. Yeah.
I would say in the beginning, you kind of blasted off with a word jumble, and I could understand it because I did hear your speech before, but because you're trying to like, kind of like word crunch it a little bit, some of like the words kind of got lost along the way and like the story.